Major breaking news this morning. A federal judge has ruled that migrant children held in Immigration and Customs Enforcement family detention centers must be released because of coronavirus. According to the ruling from District Judge Dolly G. in Central California, the centers are, quote, on fire and there is no more time for half measures. She ordered that those children who've been in detention centers for more than 20 days be released by July 17th. Her ruling also cites that earlier this month, there were 124 children in ICE custody. This comes as more than 750 ICE detainees have tested positive for coronavirus out of nearly 9,000 who've been tested so far. There's growing concern among many immigration attorneys that ICE will now release children without their parents, triggering something that would look a lot like family separation all over again. For too long now, the American political system has focused on partisanship and horse race with precarious little governing being done. And that's a situation that has worsened substantially in the last 4 years. Donald Trump, the reality TV president, has been known for his penchant for dramatics and showmanship with catchy slogans like "You're fired" or "Lock her up." He bestows demeaning nicknames on political rivals and defaults to theatrics like primetime specials to name Supreme Court justices, or talking about big military parades in the streets of D.C. Now, for a while, these theatrics were easy for some Americans to discount as rhetoric because the economy continued to strengthen and businesses were doing well. But ignoring Trump's theatrics didn't prevent damage along the way, and that damage is evident now that America isn't doing so great. In a bid to continue playing to the lowest common denominators, Trump has created a reality in which a deadly pandemic, one that killed more Americans yesterday than on any previous day, is something to laugh and make xenophobic jokes about.
I said the other night, there's never been anything where they have so many names. I could give you 19 or 20 names for that, right? It's got all different names. Wuhan. Wuhan was catching on. Coronavirus, right? Kung flu, yeah.
The president balks at simple concepts that would keep us all safer. He refuses to wear a mask, for instance. He offers snake oil treatments that have the potential to do more harm than good, and his denials of science may have caused many Americans to doubt medical professionals. Though only 0.0062% of the 1 million people the president boasted tried to get tickets to his Tulsa rally actually showed up, Donald Trump insisted on that spectacle to demonstrate that the threat of the virus had passed. What is new and different now is that the deadly reality we're facing can't be set aside by catchy slogans and nonsense talking points. This pandemic is far from over, and there are indications that it's worsening. People continue to get sick. People continue to die. And the numbers are surging in the very places where Trump has real influence to put it out, but chooses not to do that. The election is 129 days away, a little more than 3 months, and things aren't looking good for Trump. Americans have rated his handling of the pandemic poorly. The economy is suffering more than it needed to because he delayed taking action because he didn't want the numbers to double. He said that on March 6th, almost 4 months ago, when America had fewer than 200 known cases of coronavirus. People are restless, they're angry, they're desperate, and Trump desperately wants to win a second term, but he can't govern. America is telling him that. He could have chosen to lead. Just do what the public health officials told him to do. Shut things down early. Increase testing. But he chose to deny. He chose to delay. He chose to deflect. 125,000 Americans are now dead. Make America great again is a joke, given what Trump didn't do when he had a chance. Keep America great again is a slogan that America is not going to give Donald Trump a chance to prove that he can't live up to.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.